Hi guys, welcome to the workshop. Today we're going to be going over some DIYs. We're going to rate them on a scale of 1 to 10 maybe? 1 to 5? 5 raccoons? I don't know. Some of the DIYs are not going to be good, and for that reason I need to make myself a really good coffee in order to go through it all. Okay, got some quality espresso. Not espresso. Yeah, join me over at the work table. Hi guys, thanks so much for watching the first episode on this new channel. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. I'm really excited to make some new content, some instructional DIYs, thrift flips. You can always let me know if you want me to do something in particular. I'll always look in the comments and look for suggestions, so be sure to comment as well. Today we're gonna be ranking each DIY project on a scale of 1 to 10, and this is just gonna represent if I had to learn something, if I was proud of it, the overall impact in the space. It's just 10 being good, 1 being not so good. Because I enjoy using found items in different DIY projects as well, I'm gonna be ranking on a scale of 1 to 5 raccoons. 5 raccoons is gonna represent that the project used a lot of found items, and 1 being that I probably just used all new material. The first DIY project we're gonna talk about is Andreanne's fireplace. This project was really cool. I enjoyed it from the moment I started to the moment that we installed it, kind of. There's a little drama involved in the end there. People did bring up a good point that from an open flame, there has to be a certain distance to any sort of piece of wood. So Alexandra did bring in a fire inspector, and we did a little walkthrough of Andreanne's living room. He said, oh, this is totally fine. The wood trim does not have any contact to the open flame. There's a piece of glass over top of it, so he said nothing to worry about. I loved making this fireplace. Alexandra had this great idea that we would just make a little slip cover, so it just fits right over top. It was a little bit challenging. I actually constructed it out of 3/4 inch plywood. I had to make a couple trips to Andreanne's without her looking. I kind of fit it into place and made sure it fits, because once you tile it and put all the oak trim on it and everything, you couldn't really trim it to fit once everything was put together. In the end, the little bit extra time in the pre-planning phase paid off, so I didn't have to stress on the installation day trying to make it fit. I would rank this DIY a solid 9. The comments, the concerns got the better of me, but in the end we proved to ourselves and to the viewers that this is totally safe. It's not gonna burn Andreanne's house down. On a raccoon scale of 1 to 5, this was a 0. It's not even a 1. There wasn't any reclaimed material here at all, unfortunately. Maybe the tile adhesive, but I probably had to buy some more of that too. Okay, next up we have Gokhan's entryway room divider. This one was a beast. It was heavy. I had to stain it all outside. It was very cool because I used just basic material that you can find at your home improvement store for it. We used just 2x4s. I made them a little bit smaller, a little bit I just changed the dimensions of it just a little bit so that your eye doesn't think construction lumber. You know, when you look at it, it looks a little bit more intentional. And then the shelf is actually made out of a headboard from a bed I found on the sidewalk. The installation is pretty simple. The base of it was just floating on the floor. We didn't screw anything into the floor. Instead, we had the upright connect to the ceiling part, and then we connected the ceiling part into the wall and then into the ceiling. I think the impact of this DIY in Gokhan's space was just incredible. It was night and day. It just broke up his space, allowed him to have a little bit of a bedroom area, entryway area, and also just be super interesting to look at. If you're to have friends over, it's just a little bit of a conversation starter. I would rank this one probably, I don't want to say a 9 again, but just due to the reception online, people loved it. I wasn't that stoked about the stain because it just turned into this brown paint. It wasn't really a stain. You couldn't really see much of the wood grain. I wanted it to look like a quality wood. I think next time I'll probably fiddle around with like a gel stain or something if I were to do this project again. On a raccoon scale of 1 to 5, I would give this one a 1.5. So next up, we have Alexandra's Anthropologie bar cabinet dupe. And when she showed me this, and there's like a curved top to it, I was like, yeah, we could do that. She's like, you sure? I said, yep. But anything curved in woodworking is just like so much harder. Not only were we like turning a Billy bookcase from IKEA into this like arched cabinet, we were also putting an IKEA dresser into the cabinet as well. It was a massive process. It took a really long time. The top of the cabinet was made by like kerf bending. So kerf bending is like when you like put a bunch of like cut marks in plywood, and then it allows it to like bend. This glass from these doors was actually made from this big mirror. I think I got it for like 10 bucks off Facebook Marketplace. It was like a 10-foot mirror that we de-silvered the back of it, put like ammonia and like bleach and like steel wool, and you remove like the shininess of the mirror, and then you get clear glass. It took twice as long as we had anticipated. I think it was like 2 weeks. It was just a lot more difficult than I was kind of anticipating. So while I'm super proud that we made this, at the same time, was it a good idea? I don't know. Just because you can do it doesn't mean that you should. That's all I can say. It's like going to the moon or something. It's like, yeah, we can do it, but should we? I don't know.
Well, this little maneuver is gonna cost us 51 years.
Looking at it with having no idea how it was made, probably like a 7 or an 8. It was hard, but I did learn a lot from it. Now I think if we were to do it again, I think we could do it super easily. Okay, so we have the glass doors is a raccoon find. The marble shelf is a raccoon find. On a scale of 1 to 5, I would give this one 3 raccoons. So next up we have Ashna's window wall. This one was very, very cool. Like so impactful in her space. She had like a railroad apartment. So Alexandra wanted to kind of break up the space and separate her bedroom from the living room, and came up with this idea to make like this window wall. I looked online on Facebook Marketplace, and there was a guy like 2 blocks away getting rid of tempered glass for free. And I just like sorted through all this random glass and found a piece that was like the exact same size that I needed, which was crazy. I kind of made it look like an old warehouse window by just creating like small strips of wood, and then like kind of like created half lap joints so they kind of like crisscross like that. And then the base was built just like you would a regular wall. Had like wood studs. I drywalled everything. It was a lot. It was a lot of like pre-planning, like making sure that this would all work out when on the day. And sure enough, it did. Super impactful. It just turned out really, really well. That one was like a 7 or an 8. That one was good. The reason why I'm not giving it a 10, because the wall opens up, right? It's like hinged. So there was a gap on either side. The one side it was hidden by the bed, so you didn't have to worry about that, but the other side where her desk was, you could see like a bit of a gap. Raccoon scale, it's a 3. It's a good, solid 3. Could have found more construction material for the base, I think. So next up we have Niamh's saloon doors. Some mistakes were made for sure, but I'm looking back on them and I'm like, these look really good. But okay, here's the thing. I made it out of construction lumber, which is like not properly dried wood, but it's kind of cool that it's made out of just like regular wood you can get at the hardware store. Also, I got like these saloon hinges off of Amazon. I had no idea what size to get. I think I got a size that's like too small, so like the spring mechanism like isn't strong enough to like swing these doors. But they worked. I would say the one issue is that like the door on the right, if you were to swing it open, it would like hit the stove. So that one kind of always has to be closed. Had I had a little bit more time, I probably would have come up with a better situation to prop them open. Maybe even just like a hook and eye situation, like a little like old school latch would work. Niamh says that they're still working perfectly. This one was a win overall. This one, I do have to take into account the hinge and the magnet falling off, so 8 out of 10, I would say. Aesthetically, these are quite nice. Raccoon, what did I find in the garbage here? I think I had the tubing left over from something, like a plumbing project. Unfortunately, this is a 0 out of 5 on the raccoon scale. Next up, we have Alexandra's DIY PAX storage unit. In classic Alexandra fashion, she wanted PAX wardrobes, storage for books, storage for skis and suitcases. She just wanted everything for this unit. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. Everything seemed to be going wrong. It was on the 3rd floor in her house, so I had to go down to the ground floor every single time I had to make a cut. Go back upstairs, 3 floors, go back down. My feet were killing me. The DIY consisted of a couple different parts. So we had the 2 PAX cabinets, another unit that went on top of the PAX units, and then there was the angled storage cabinet that was attached to the side of the PAX wardrobe that had storage for skis and suitcases and stuff. This one probably took like twice as long as we had anticipated. One of the faults of mine, and I think Alexandra as well, is that we're like hopeless optimists. And we're always just like, oh yeah, it's like 2 days worth of work or 3 days or something like that. But we literally had to make that cabinet on the left from scratch. We just went above and beyond to make it look like it was factory made, because like the angle of the room, and it was just like, we were doing like Pythagoras' theorem or whatever. We were like trying to figure out like the angles of the triangles and like all this sort of stuff. It turned out great though. It's like held up really well over time. The whole thing just looks like it's built into the wall. I would give this one an 8. The reason why I'm not giving it a perfect score is because, yeah, that book storage piece above the PAX cabinets is not center. Should have just thought about that in the pre-planning phase. A lot of the times you just want to jump into the project, just make it, get it out of the way, start on something new. But yeah, take that extra like 5 to 10 minutes and just make sure that everything looks great on paper beforehand. This one did use a lot of materials I had to buy brand new in order to match the aesthetic of the PAX wardrobe unit. So this one is probably a 1 out of 5 on the raccoon scale. So next up we have Katie's double Kallax bedroom divider thingy. So this is an idea that Alexandra had where she wanted a Kallax unit as a room divider. So we took 2 Kallax units, we kind of like Frankensteined them together and created this really beautiful bedroom divider. We grabbed some wood, we cut it to the same dimension as the cavity like in the Kallax unit, put the wood in, glued it, nailed it together, and then slid the other Kallax unit on top. So it was like, I used like auto body filler, it's called Bondo, for the crack, and I sanded it down so it was like nice and strong and you couldn't really see where the 2 pieces like joined together. Another challenge that I came across was making it so that it would be the same dimension as the floor to ceiling. So I made a little base for it to sit on, put some decorative trim on there, and it kind of like reminded me of like an ancient, like classical column or something. It looked very like ornate almost in the end.
You sure about that?
It turned out really, really well. That one was like very smooth, right? Like there was no issues whatsoever. I didn't have to worry about it falling over because it was like kissing the floor and the ceiling, so there's no way for it to move at all. So yeah, I'd probably give that one a 10. Confident 10. Raccoon score, because we had to buy new Kallax units for this, the wood inside was definitely scrap wood. So it's probably like a 2 out of 5 for the raccoon score. One DIY install that gets brought up a lot is Nicole's vinyl wrap kitchen counter. It did look really great in the end, but there were some things that I learned along the way that I wish I had known to begin with. It's just the installation which was a little bit more challenging. So I had never vinyl wrapped anything before in my life. It was not easy. It was so tricky. It was so sticky. It was like, if it were to fold it over on itself, there'd be like no way to get it apart. You're supposed to actually use like spray water on the counter beforehand, and then you squeegee it out it's a little bit more forgiving. When we did it, it was not forgiving at all. It was just like, as soon as it's down on the counter, it's done. We did end up breaking it up into like the backsplash piece and the counter piece. So yeah, tips for next time, use a spray bottle of water and a squeegee. I'm gonna challenge myself to do a vinyl wrap project sometime in the near future. I have some ideas. I'm looking forward to improving the process from before. I would say the impact is like a 10. The install was probably like a 6. Okay, so that's it for my DIYs. If you guys have any favorite DIYs that you want me to talk about in the future, please let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.